So get ready, shake things up, and help me welcome Tanya Spence and Betsy Allen Manning.
All right, thank you. Let's see if, there we go. Thank you guys for the applause there. You might want to hold it off and see if we're actually worth it, right? Well, my name is Betsy Allen Manning, y'all. And I used to see the world through these lenses only. You see, I've always been a super positive, happy-go-lucky, always had a great outlook on life kind of gal. And you know, all I really care about when it boils down to it is having fun. How many of you are like me? You like to have a good time? Man, we're in the right place today, aren't we, Tanya? Well, I'll tell you, I was blessed to be able to travel the world for over 12 years as a professional singer. And it didn't matter where I was or what I was doing, I would always find where the fun was. So I've been able to go bungee jumping, skydiving, land sailing, what else? Dog sledding in Alaska. Anyone else been skydiving before? Look at that! Now, I'll tell you, we do a lot of these talks, and normally you may get one person in the room because we're with the firewalkers today. I knew we'd have some adventurous people. And I'll tell you, it's all about having fun. My friends always told me, Betsy, you're one of the most positive and happy people I know. I bet you actually woke up every single day, and that song from Despicable Me, I bet that was actually written just for you. You guys know it, don't you? Will you sing along with me? Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Woo! Give yourselves a round of applause. That was pretty good. I gotta tell you, I need more deodorant for you guys here. Here's the thing. I mean, happiness, that's all I really ever cared about. But if you weren't like me, and you didn't see the world through the same lenses that I looked through, guess what? I didn't want to be your friend. I didn't want to hang out with you. I wanted nothing to do with you because I wanted to be around people who were just like me. How many of you have ever felt that way before? Now, I'll tell you this, it's always great to be around people that are like you, but that did not always serve me well in my life to have that kind of mentality and mindset with people. We tend to focus on someone's weaknesses or what we perceive to be their weaknesses, correct? And you will never be able to see someone's strengths if you're focused on what you perceive to be their weakness. And I'll tell you this, my positive traits, my great outlook on life, that served me well. It served me well in business, and it served me well in my personal relationships. However, the overuse of my greatest strengths have also become my greatest weakness. And because I'm aware of that, and I've been working on it over time, I'm able to balance that out a little bit more and build better relationships. Now, my partner in crime, Tanya over here, she used to see things a little differently than I did. So let's give it up for Miss Tanya Spence.
She's so awesome. Well, my name is Tanya, and I used to see the world through these lenses. You guys, I was so driven and ambitious, and I like to accomplish big things. I mean, the bigger, the better. I mean, how many of you in here thrive just on getting things done? Anybody? Getting that list checked off? Oh, me too. And I'm telling you, there's nothing that lights my fire better than a great competition. You know, and just like Betsy came dancing out of her mother's womb, you know, singing happy, I came charging out of my mother's womb singing Another One Bites the Dust. Yeah! I mean, y'all, I auditioned for for Survivor, for The Amazing Race. We traveled the country competing with our horses. And I mean, I just love a healthy challenge. However, if you weren't like me, then I probably didn't want to bother with you. And unfortunately, that driven mindset kept me from years of even going on vacations and really creating some amazing relationships. And you know, my family will tell you today that there were so many memories that were created without me because I had chosen success over significance. You know, my mentor, John Maxwell, says that success is something that we do for ourselves, but significance is something that we do for others. And you know, it sounds a little bit harsh, but you know, I had to intentionally learn how to value people above my agenda. And today my life looks and feels so different because I have that balance. Now, am I still wired that way? Ugh, you better believe it. And there are days that I am challenged. As a matter of fact, it was a couple of months ago, and my sweetheart Tom, who lives part-time in New York, he called me up and he said, honey, I have got the greatest surprise for you. He said, Mom and Dad are coming to Texas from New York for the very first time, and they're going to be there for 6 days. And he said, I have got everything planned out for the 4 of us. He said, I have already landed us some tickets to the Yankee Ranger game. We'll go to the horse races. We'll go to church with your family. We'll go eat some Texas barbecue. And oh my goodness, we're finally going to get to go pig out on that Babe's fried chicken that you've been telling me about. He said, they can't wait to get there. And y'all, he was so excited, and I was so not. All I could think myself was, don't you even know me by now? How in the world am I going to get any work done? And I just was kind of furious on the inside. And then he said something to me that I thought might end our relationship forever. He said, sweetheart, would you terribly mind if they stayed with you when we come into town? I thought, stay with me in my little bitty cozy posh pad? Or I must be having a nightmare. And y'all, I literally had to hold my tongue like this so I wouldn't say something that I was going to regret for the rest of our lives. And I did good. But when I hung up that phone, I had to call my mother because I was needing to vent. And I just went on and on and on. And when I was finished, she lovingly gave it to me straight. And she sided with Tom. And I thought to myself, I'm just going to break up with everybody, including my own mother. I'm done. But I am here to tell you that I would not, those 6 days with his family were worth more than all the accomplishments in the world. They were absolutely priceless. But for years, I missed out on building those kinds of relationships because somewhere along the way, I had become a human doing, and I forgot that I was a human being. But I'm telling you, things are different now. But it was just like Betsy. It was the overuse of my strengths that had become my greatest weakness. Those traits of being, just driven and ambitious, they served me so well. But I had to get back to that balance. So what Betsy and I both learned is that we were going to have to do some things really different if we were going to have truly successful lives and build great relationships. Because you guys, let's face it, opposites attract, but opposites attack. They're the people that you understand the least, that you struggle with the most, and the ones you marry. It does happen. And you know what Betsy and I also discovered is that while everyone is communicating, is that few people are actually connecting. And if you're not connecting, then you're not influencing. And the way that we connect with others is by speaking in a language that they understand. So how many of you remember or know the Golden Rule? The Golden Rule says, do unto others as you would have them
Do unto you.
Exactly. But today we want to introduce to you what is called the Platinum Rule. And actually, we're excited to say, we mentioned the Platinum Rule here in our new book, The People Advantage. And it simply says, and it is the cornerstone of our business, and actually of every single thing that we do. And the Platinum Rule simply says, do unto others as they prefer to be done unto. But if you don't know what that is, it's going to be hard to accomplish, right? So what we want to do today is we are going to introduce to you the 4 unspoken communication secrets, or in other words, the 4 areas of conflict that we deal with in relationships on a daily basis, the very most. And that is going to be the foundation of the Platinum Rule. And what we want to do is we don't want you to just learn this information. We want you to live it. Right, Beth?
That's right, Tanya. High five, girl. So let me ask you this first. Knowledge is power, right? You've heard that your whole life, knowledge is power. That's wrong. You've been lied to your whole life. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is where the power is. If you learn something here today and you walk out that door and do nothing with it, There's no power in that whatsoever. So we don't want you to learn it. We want you to live it. But I'm going to need full commitment from you guys in order to know that you're really going to walk out of here and live this information. So you know how Tony Robbins events go. So I'm going to need all of you to stand up, because if you don't put your full body into this, it's not going to happen, and you know it already. So we have a little phrase in our business. We use it in our blogs, in our videos, in our keynotes, trainings, everything. And it goes like this: learn it, live it. So when I say learn it, I want you guys to say live it. But you know you can't just say it. You're going to yell it out from the bottom of your stomach, your gut there. And I want you to say live it like this. Give it a try. Live it. All right, so the tune goes like this. When I say learn it, you say live it. Learn it. Live it. Learn it. Live it. When I say learn it, you say live it. Learn it. Live it. Learn it. Live it. Woo! You know what? Turn to your neighbor and say, you go, girl. Oh, or you go, boy. Sorry. You guys can have a seat. Great. You know what's funny about that is I love seeing the guys go, you go, girl. All right, the first area that we really want you to learn about today is called pacing. And this is very simple. Some people are fast-paced in the way they talk, in the way they walk. Everything they do is just fast-paced. They got somewhere to go, people to see. I'm on a mission, get out of my way, right? And some people are slower-paced in the way they walk, in the way they talk. Everything they do, they just want to enjoy the journey. I'll get there when I do. Now, both of these pacings are normal. However, as you can tell, they're very different. All right, so let me kind of give you an example. And since I used to be a singer, I'll do it in the form of a song. When fast-paced people talk, and for our slower-paced people in the room, you know who you are. Pay attention to this. When fast-paced people talk, this is what you probably hear. If you'll be... Am I money with teaching and dine, and I love you all the time, anytime you are the B, it's the best of all the RS, and I love you all the time, anytime. Woo! High five. Yeah. So cute. Thanks. So, how many slower paced people do we have in the room? Let me show of hands. It's all right. Put them up high. Okay, you know who you are. So here's the thing. When fast-paced people talk, do you often feel, and show me a raise of hands, and we're all friends here, so it's okay, all right? We're gonna switch it around in a moment. When fast-paced people talk, for slower-paced people, show of hands if you feel a little overwhelmed or even drained of your energy. Look around the room. Keep them up so we can see. Fast-paced people, look around. You're actually losing connection with half of the population by not understanding this one concept of pacing. Now, slower-paced people, you can do the same thing when it comes to talking to fast-paced people. So using that same song, here's what our fast-paced people hear when slower-paced people talk. If you'll be M-I-N-E mine, I'll be T-H-I-N-E thine. And I'll L-O-V-E love you all the T-I-M-E time. So, obviously that's an exaggeration. But for our fast-paced people here in the room, show of hands if you feel a little bit, I didn't even ask you the question, and they're raising their hands. Look at this. Show of hands if you feel a little bit impatient or agitated when slower-paced people talk. Okay, so look, and obviously we have faster-paced people in the room. If you're all firewalkers, I can understand that. Here's the thing. You're losing connection with half of the population by not understanding this one principle. And something that Tanya and I want you to understand, neither one of these styles of pacing is better than the other. They're simply different. Okay? And here's where the conflict can come in for you. And let me show you in the form of, I hired a business coach for my speaking business, and her name is Jane, and we were Skyping. I hadn't met her yet in person, but we decided she lives in Canada, we were gonna Skype together. So we have our very first Skype call, and I was so excited, right? Am I fast-paced or slow-paced, by the way? Yeah, I think you can figure that out by now. So our very first call together, and I don't know anything about her, so I just started going, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to work with you. This is going to be so great. I have so many good ideas, but you have great ideas. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. And as I'm talking, I see her go, whoa. She actually backs away from the computer screen. And I'm going, I look at this and I go, I'm freaking her out. Because I understand human behavior and I understand this about her. I slowed myself down. I said, I'm sorry. I'm just really excited to work with you. But the rest of the conversation, I slowed myself down. And then we had a better conversation together because I was honoring who she is. And that's what we want you to learn today in these 4 areas that we're talking about, is learning how to honor who the other person is. You don't have to become somebody else. Just visit who they are when it's going to serve that relationship. And that's what we ask of you, all right? So our tip for you here is that when someone is faster paced and you're a little bit slower, match that pacing style by bringing yourself up a little bit, right? But when someone is slower paced, slow your pacing down. By the way, how many of you are in sales here in the room? Show of hands. Okay. Do you think that you ever may speak to someone that's slower paced and that you actually can lose a sale from this one thing alone, all right? Are you getting benefits so far? All right, so when I say learn it, you say live it. Learn it. Live it. Learn it. Live it. All right, Tanya.
Awesome, girl. So the second area of conflict that we deal with the most in our relationships is what we call information needs. And that is, some individuals have very general information needs. That means they just want you to cut to the chase, get to the point in 10 words or less. Just give them the Reader's Digest version of the Reader's Digest version. Because if you don't, you are going to lose them. And do y'all remember when we would be in high school or college and those little yellow books that you would buy? Do you remember what those are called? Cliff Notes, exactly. And why did you buy the Cliff Notes? You didn't want to read. You don't have time for that. Or you procrastinated. I mean, who's got time to read that whole silly book? So I call these the Cliff Noters for life. Because they're also those individuals that say that they buy a swing set or a new bicycle or they get a new electronic device and they look at that manual and they go, I don't need that thing. Or they go like this. I got it. That's all I need. Who needs the manual? I can put this thing together. So those are your general information needs individuals. However, we also have individuals that have very specific information needs. And that means that they really prefer the details. They want, Mark, the step-by-step process. The more details that you provide them, the more comfortable that they're going to be in their connection with you or whatever it is that you are asking them to do. Please break it down for them. Now, like Beth said, one is not better than the other. They're just different. And where we have an experience of stress in our relationships is that I would say 99% of the time is that we like to provide information the way we prefer to receive it. And so we're missing out on that connection. And you know what? I challenge you that if you're having a disconnect in your personal relationships, you're going to have a disconnect also in your businesses. So this is huge to understand. So how many of you here would say, you know what, Tanya? I just like it when people cut to the chase. I like it when they just give it to me straight. Yeah, I get it. I'm with you. Excellent. And how many of you would say, you know what? I'm that person that puts things together right the first time. I like the details. I like it. And you know what? It's so funny because you can walk in where someone who is detail-oriented and they're working on putting on something together and general information needs person will walk in the room and say, you know what? In the same amount of time that you did that once, I could have done that 10 times. And the detailed person will say, but you did it wrong though. And I would rather do it one time right than 10 times wrong. I would rather measure twice and cut once than have to glue your mess back together again. I mean, this is a daily thing that we deal with. So anyway, hopefully that will help you guys, but this is huge. This is just like Betsy said, you know what? When we step into other people and what their needs and understand their need systems are, what we are telling them is that I value you. You're important to me. And that is so big when it comes to building relationships and living a full life. So does that help you guys? Yeah. Awesome. So when I say learn it, you say live it. Learn it. Live it. Learn it. Live it. Awesome.
Man, I have to say, this is the best group we've ever had. Do that. Live it and really own it. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. All right, the third area of conflict we want to bring to your attention today is called social interaction. Social interaction. Some people are a little bit more outgoing, which means they tend to verbalize their thoughts and their feelings. You pretty much know where you stand with them. And some people are a little bit more reserved, and they may internalize feelings, and they may not want to speak up in front of everybody, but they still do want to share ideas. And I want you to think of both of these like an engine of a car. So our more outgoing people, they're like your Ferrari, right? What sound does a Ferrari make? Oh, you guys can do better than that. What sound does a Ferrari make? Vroom, vroom. Yeah, there you go. So a Ferrari, they've got places to go, people to say, come on, yeah, it's going to be loud, right? But our more reserved people, they're more like your Bentley. They just want to enjoy the journey. We just need to go smoothly. That's just fine, right? So, and we always say, not one's better than the other, but they're different. Now, to know who you are, because you're going to have a little bit of both of these traits inside of you, but you're going to lean more one way than the other. So when you came here today, if you're a little bit more outgoing, you probably went up to people you know, and even people you don't know. And maybe you went up and you gave them a high five, or maybe you gave them a knuckle bump, woo! Or maybe you even went up to them and you gave them what I call our tornado hug. Anyone know what this is? Where you pick them up and you spin them around like that. Now, by the way, if you do that, make sure you know someone well enough. But that would be our more outgoing people. Our more reserved people, however, they may come in, kind of assess the room, see where people are, what's going on, shake their head at people, come take a seat and wait for someone to approach them. How many of you would say, you know what, I think I might be a little bit more reserved. I'd rather people come and approach me. Yeah, and how many of you would say, oh, I know I'm outgoing, I'm tornado hug coming your way, look out, right? Okay, great. And what we want to do is we want to show you, before we show you where the conflict comes in, we want to show you how to honor someone that is different than you. So I'm going to need 3 volunteers, and one, stand up. Oh, 3 volunteers that feel they're more outgoing. So, okay, stand up, and little boy, I love it. We got a boy in there, all right. Here, you can stay where you're at. It's more fun if you stay where you're at, actually, because I'm going to throw you. This is called a thumb ball, if you've never seen these before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it to you. It has a bunch of statements on it. Whatever your right or left thumb lands on, I'll let you choose. You're going to read the statement. Tanya is going to bring the mic around so everyone can hear you. You're going to read the statement and then answer it, okay? Tell us your name first. Tanya, you want to give out the mic?
Let him catch it first.
Well, no, tell us your name.
Eric.
Eric. All right, coming at you. Just kidding. There we go. Woo! All right, so.
A talent I wish I had, picking out clothes.
You have a girlfriend?
I actually have a stylist, so
Well, there you go.
that's always been a challenge for me.
Awesome. Great job. Round of applause. All right. What's your name? Byron. Coming at you, Byron. Woo. Good catch.
All right. My most creative contribution. Ooh, I love this. The strategies that come out of my mind.
Oh, name one strategy that's come out of your mind that we need to know about.
Marketing.
Oh, okay. So are you marketing strategist?
Yes.
All right. We learned something new. Give it up for Byron. Woohoo. Woo. I'm not that tall, Byron. Okay. What's your name? Alberto. It's coming your way. You ready? Woohoo. Oh, good catch. Alberto, go ahead and tell us the question you have and then give us your answer.
My greatest work challenge.
Oh, okay. You know what? What about your greatest challenge at school? Let's do that. Your greatest challenge at school.
My childhood hobby.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Soccer.
Soccer. All right. Woohoo. Let's give it up for all 3 of our volunteers. Great job, you guys. Now, like we always say, not one is better than the other of these styles, but they're very different. The reason I asked some outgoing people to stand up in the room and share is because I know that they're willing to do that, even if I put them on the spot like I did. They didn't have any prepared answers ahead of time, right? Did I approach you ahead of time with this? Nope, none of you. So they were able to do that. However, our more reserved people in the room, I would never put them on the spot to do something like that. They may not want to speak up in front of everybody, but they also would probably want 20 to 30 minutes to think about their answer so they come up with a good answer for y'all. So what I want to do is honor our reserved people in the room and give you a chance to speak as well. So what we're going to do is you're going to pair up really quick. We're going to give you a minute. So pair up with somebody else. If there's more than an even amount of people in the row, just make it 3 people altogether, okay? So pair up with someone next to you, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to share, and you're going to answer one question. You get a minute per person, and we'll go ahead and we'll time it as well. Minute per person. And I want you to share the answer to this question. The number one goal I want to achieve by this time next year is this. And tell them why you want to achieve that goal. All right, your marks, get set, go. All right, hopefully everybody had a chance to share. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, say, oh yeah, baby. All right, how many of you learned something cool about this person that you were talking with? Awesome, that's great. You've got some great people next to you, right? Give them a round of applause for sharing. I always respect when someone can be transparent with another person. And you may have sat next to someone that you haven't spoken to before, so that's a great chance to get to know each other. Like we said, neither one of these styles of being outgoing or more reserved are better than the other. They're very different, and they can actually cause conflict for us if we don't understand them. So let me show you where this comes in. And by the way, this is something, if you're going to write something down, write this down. Conflict is unmet expectations. That's what it boils down to. That's all conflict really is having unmet expectations. So let me ask you this. How many of you have ever been on a road trip, or how many of you like going on road trips? Raise your hands. Okay, good. Most of the people in the room here. My husband and I have been married for 3 years now. We've been together for 4 years. And the first year of our marriage, we decided we're going to take a 6-hour road trip together up the coast of California, going from LA to Carmel by the Sea. Beautiful drive by the ocean front. So we're driving along, and my husband, now I'm a little bit more outgoing, he's a little bit more reserved. So for me, I already have our iPod ready to go with a playlist of 80s music that we're gonna jam out to and dance in the car. I've got games ready to go. So I'm like, hey, Hubs, why don't we play a game? Do you know I spy with my little eye something that is green? Go. And he's driving along, he's going, that's okay, baby. I just kind of want to chill and drive, listen maybe some classical music or something, just chill. I'm like, okay. So 10 minutes go by, I go, oh, I know, the ABC game. Everybody knows the ABC game, right? Who rocks at the ABC game besides me? Yeah, high five right there. Yeah, if you don't know it, for kids, you got to play this game. It's so much fun. So I say, let's play the ABC game. And he says, babe, really, all I want to do is just drive, just chill. I'm okay. So 10 more minutes go by. I'm getting bored by this time, right? And I go, I know. We're literally married. Let me find out about you. Do you want to tell me about work? You want to talk about family? Anything. What do you want to talk about? And now he's getting agitated. Bets, I don't want to talk. I don't want to jam out to music in the car and do all your car dancing moves. I don't want to play these silly games. I just want to drive. Is that okay? Okay, that's fine. Now I'm disappointed, as we get when someone doesn't meet our expectations, and I turn to the window. I'm going, I married the most boring man in the world. But then, we get to talking and we just figure it out, because I understand human behavior. I understand this one thing, that some of us are more outgoing, some of us are more reserved. And I can honor my husband in that moment. I can get mad at him, or I can honor him. How many of you work with somebody else that you feel like it's pulling teeth just to get them to talk to you sometimes? Anybody like that? Or a client like that? Or maybe you're with somebody and they're just nudging you. Come on, talk. Come on, talk. Come on, talk. Let's do something. Anybody ever get that and you just get agitated with them? It can go both ways. And how we reduce the conflict is by honoring the person that we're with. And our tip for you when it comes to social interaction is just recognize, if you're with a client, by the way, for those of you in sales, and they're more reserved, don't keep nudging them to converse with you. Have questions prepared, but let them come out of their shell and talk with you. And if someone's a little bit more outgoing and you're more reserved, guess what? Have those questions prepared and honor them by asking them those questions, and let them talk and interact with you, because they're going to want it. Does this make sense to you? Yes. Do you see how this one area can help you reduce stress in your life and conflict in your life and start building better relationships? Because that's what we're here to do. So when I say learn it, you say live it. Learn it. Live it. Learn it. Live it. All right, Tanya.
Awesome, girl.
Go.
Awesome. Now, the last and final area of conflict that we actually deal with the very most in our relationships, even probably more than all the other ones put together, is what we call the area of focus. And that is that some individuals are more task-focused, while some are more relationship-focused. Now, your task-focused individuals enjoy making a list, checking it off, getting things done, being efficient, being the best, just doing things with excellence because they want to be the best that they can possibly be. Whereas your relationship-focused individuals are more about socializing, being kind and friendly and warm and a hug and hello and how are you and how are you doing? I haven't talked so long, and they really want to know. They want to interact with you. Now, like Beth said, one is not better than the other, but they are very different. For an example, for some of you coming to this meeting today, it was all about a task. It was like, okay, what time's it start? What time is it over? How long is it going to go? Is it going to run over? Are there things that I need to do to prepare to get there? Is it going to be over in time for me to get to the other things that I need to get done today? And how is this going to benefit me in my life? Who are these girls and what are they bringing? Is it really going to help? And the list goes on and on and on because it's more of a task. Then others of you who are more relationship focused, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get to see Julie and Michelle and Jesse and Amy, and oh, this is going to be such a blast. I just miss these people. It's been a whole month, but it seems like 10 years. They're just like family to me. And then you know what? I need to call her and see if I can give her a ride over there because that'll give us a little bit more time to catch up. And then maybe we can go to lunch afterwards. You know, I've got this new CD I want her to listen to. I've got all these cool pictures on my phone, and it's more about the relationship. You're just a little bit more consumed with people. Now, y'all, one's not good or bad, right or wrong. They're just different. And the fact of the matter is that every single one of you, all these traits that we have talked about today, you have on the inside of you. And you have tasks, and you have relationship. But you are going to lean a little bit more in one direction than you are the other. And it could be so close. It could be like 51 to 49%. It could be that close. But there's still going to be a tendency to lean one way. For instance, we all have telemarketers call, right? And if you have a telemarketer call and you're a task-focused individual, it's probably more like, hello, we are not interested. Take me off the list. Click. If you're more relationship focused, it might be like, hello? Excuse me, I don't want to interrupt. Yeah, you know, we're really not interested right now. You know what, but you are doing such a great job. You know, have a wonderful week. Yeah, thank you so much for calling. Click, but don't call back again. You know, I mean, it's just more about the people. You don't want to hurt their feelings. These are people. You know, they're friends that you haven't met. That might kind of be like family, you know? So how many of you would say, you know what? I just don't like it when those people call me, and I do not have a problem telling them to take me off the list because you got things to do. Task-focused people. Yes. And how many of you in here, you know what? It's always more about the people. It's about relationships, and you know that's what you're more consumed with. How many would say I'm more relationship-focused? Guys, and if you look at the room, it's about 50-50. It's absolutely amazing. Now, what I want you to know is, if you don't remember anything else I say today, if you can remember this nugget, and that is that up to 90% of the conflict that you're having in your relationships on a daily basis is as a result of not understanding if someone is task or relationship focused. That is a huge number, big number. But you know what, let me give you a little example. This past year, my dad needed to have a heart procedure. And we only wanted the best working on our man. So Mom did all the research and got the referrals. And as I was looking through his credentials and background, I knew that this man was very task-focused. I also pretty much knew what his specific personality style was. And when we were on the way to the surgery center to meet the doctor for the first time, Mom was driving the car and I was sitting in the back seat and Dad was in the passenger seat. And I just went up to him and I just lightly put my hand on his shoulder from the back. And I said, Dad, I just want to give you a little bit of heads up here. When we go in here to meet this doctor, he is not there to build a relationship with you, Mom, or I. He's there to fix your heart. So when he doesn't want to share stories and talk about family or swaps jokes, I just don't want you to get your feelings hurt. Now, what is so powerful about this is that I am telling Dad and coaching him on something that's about to happen with a person that I have never met. And so we get there. Long story short, they take Dad back for some very extensive tests. And a couple hours later, they let Mom and I go in there with him, and we wait for the doctor. And finally, the doctor walks in, and he sits down, and he just starts reading the charts. And he's looking at EKG records and x-rays and checking Dad's heart. And then finally, he speaks up. And he says, Mr. Spence, there are some things here that I'm really concerned about, and I want to move forward with. And he went over a couple of things with us, asked us if we had any questions, and then he said the team is going to come in about 30 minutes to prep you, and we'll see you after surgery. And out the room he went. And we were all in shell shock. I mean, you could have just scooped Dad up with a shovel. He was just, and the reason is that my dad is so relationship focused, and there was no connection, with this doctor. And I could his stress levels were out the roof. And I just said, wait a minute. You guys, we've known this stuff for years. I said, Dad, this is one of the best. He is one of the best doctors that there is. I said, if you could have taken your heart out and put it in a jar and leave it on the counter for him to fix, that'd be just fine with him. Actually, he would probably prefer it. And everything is going to be okay. It was. But I'm here to tell you, if I did not know what I know about communication and about people and about personalities, this is what I'd be telling you today. I'd be saying, you know what? My dad's doctor was one arrogant, pompous jerk. I wouldn't want him working on my dog. What in the world is he doing in the healthcare industry? He doesn't care about people. That's just one of the coldest, unkindest people I've ever met. And guess what? You would have missed the point because of my judgment. You see, I'm so grateful to God for that man, for his brilliant mind, for his dedication to be absolutely the best that he can be in his profession, because he saved my daddy's life. So guys, I'm telling you, if you can understand the difference between task and relationship, it will take your relationships from ordinary to absolutely extraordinary. So I'm going to give you a question that you can ask yourself anytime that you're with someone that's going to help you walk this out. And the question is this: is this a relationship that you and I are trying to build, or is this a task that we are trying to accomplish? Now, I want y'all to say it with me because it just brings more life to you and you're going to help remember it better. So I want y'all to repeat after me. Is this a relationship?
Is this a relationship
that we are trying to build?
that we are trying to build?
Or is this a task
Or is this a task
that we are trying to accomplish?
we're trying to accomplish?
That is awesome. Great job. I'll give y'all a second to write that down. Is that helpful? Awesome. So when I say learn it, you say live it. Learn it.
Live it.
Learn it.
Live it.
Awesome.
All right. Great job, Tanya. How many of you have learned something new today. When you walk out this door, you can apply it right away. That's what we like to hear. And that's because you are starting to learn the foundation in the model of human behavior. And we go a lot deeper, guys. We mentioned our book a little bit earlier, but we do go deeper in this book. Not just the 4 areas of conflict, we go into the 4 personality styles, how to communicate with them, how to connect with them, how to influence them, motivate them. And you get all that in this. It's normally $12.95. We like to offer it to groups that we speak to for just $10. And what we've found is that a lot of people, like if you work for a boss or if you are the boss, people buy it for their team because it's a tip book. And you can go through and ask your team, hey, read a tip a day, and then implement it that day. It's very interactive, so you get to implement what you learn, because if you learn it, then your job is to Absolutely. And by the way, if you know anybody that is looking for keynote speakers or that is looking for a training on this area, we do anywhere from a 90-minute to a full day training on the 4 areas of conflict, but also on DISC and the human behavior, which really helps in your sales, leadership, any area. So if you know anyone, we always appreciate referrals. Also, for those of you that are thinking right now, I wish my husband were here, or I wish my girlfriend or boyfriend or wife, whatever it is, was here. I wish my boss was here to learn this. We do have a PDF. Just come see us afterwards outside the door. We'll be there with our books and everything, but you can just put your name and email on the list, and we'll send you a PDF of the 4 areas of conflict, and you can share it with others as well, all right? In closing today, we really hope that this information, first of all, has served you, and you feel like you can walk out of here and use it to better your life. And I want you to think about it this way. You're either leaving here a turkey or you're leaving here a goose. Let me explain the difference. If you're leaving here a turkey, I don't know if you've ever been on a turkey farm, but I actually heard this story of when a turkey is injured, other turkeys will gather around it, and it'll peck at the turkey's wound until the turkey bleeds to death. And when I read that, I thought, his face is so cute. And it's cruel that an animal would peck at another animal until it's dead. And it makes me think, how many people go home every single day feeling pecked to death because we didn't understand each other's differences? How many of us go home at the end of every single day feeling like someone pecked us to death because they didn't understand that we're different in some way? That's a turkey. The goose, on the other hand, you know what they do? When one of the geese, when they're flying and one of the geese is injured, it will actually go behind and another goose will stay with it until it's better and it can take flight again. And then they wait for another flock of geese to come along and they all fly together. So let me ask you guys something. Are you leaving here today a turkey or are you leaving here today a goose? Goose. That's what we want to hear. So my challenge, our challenge together, is to take off the lenses that you normally see the world through and be brave enough to put on the lenses of the person that you're trying to build that relationship with. All right? So everybody stand up with us. We're going to do it one more time. When I say learn it, you say live it. Learn it. Live it. Learn it. Live it. When we say learn it, you say live it. Learn it. Live it. Learn it. Live it. Thank you guys so much for having us here today.
All right. Big hand, round of applause for the people experts.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, that was amazing, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.